everybody, my name is Becca. Welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, welcome. So today I'm going to be talking about something that I have come to know and love over the past year, and that would be Twilight. So in honor of talking about Twilight, I'm literally wearing my shirt. I don't know if you can see it, but it says, "So the lion fell in love with the lamb," and it's really cute. And I got it from Bookish Box when they did their Twilight box for Midnight Sun. So, I'm going to be talking about Twilight, obviously. I'm going to be talking about the books. I'm going to be talking about the movies. I'm going to be talking about Twilight merch that I have. So I'm going to start off by showing you guys everything that I have. I'm going to start with the things that I got from the Bookish Box. So I got this shirt, obviously, and then in that one-time box it came with this bookmark that has Edward on one side and then it has Bella on the other. And honestly, well, first of all, I am in love with Edward Cullen, so this is the side that's always out. But I don't know if I'm even going to use this like bookmark. I forgot what it's called. I don't even know if I'm going to use this bookmark just because like it's so perfect and I don't want to ruin it. And then it came with this necklace. Let me see if I can. I don't know if... Okay, if you can't read it, it says unconditionally and irrevocably. And I don't know, I just think it's really cute. So I have the necklace, and then it came with this exclusive Midnight Sun pen. It's oh no, just kidding, I thought it was upside down. But here's the pen. And then it came with this candle. It's called Blood Type. It's Edward's scent. And I'm not even kidding you. It smells so good. Like, it smells kind of like a mix of like pine and like a guy's cologne. If you have ever tried mahogany teak wood from Bath and Body Works, I feel like they have the same like vibe. Like, that's kind of what it smells like. And then I did get a book like slipcase, I think it's called. Like, you know, the padded one that you can put your book in, whatever. I got one of those, but I didn't like it, so I ended up just giving it away. So, yeah, I don't know. I just didn't like, it didn't really fit in with everything else. For me, at least, that's what I thought. So, that's everything from the one-time box. But then I got, you guys have seen these before, but I got these dust jackets from Bookish Box as well. Here's all four. I think they're in the right order. So Twilight is on the side and Breaking Dawn is on this side. So I got these, and they're super cool. So the reason I took them off is because I got another set of dust jackets. I dropped one. I just took the hardcovers out from those ones and I put them into my new ones, which I will show you in just a second. And these, they like stand, you can't even see it. Oh, there you go. They just stand on their own. So you can, oh, it's upside down. So you can see, you can still see them perfectly from like my bookcase. But, oh no, I ripped it. I have so many Twilight books. It's ridiculous. I also have Midnight Sun, and I have it with the same dust jacket from Bookish Box. This one, I'm not even kidding you, has been through hell. Like, you can literally tell it's just like destroyed. I have brought this with me like everywhere I went, and it took me a long time to read this book. But yeah, I'm kind of like, the dust jacket is kind of beat up and I'm kind of bummed about it, but once it's on my shelf you can't really tell. So I got this one for Midnight Sun. And that's the only copy of Midnight Sun I have, surprisingly. And then I have, obviously, just the original. These are the ones that I read. Just the original, like, paperbacks. Ugh, paperback copies. I'm dropping them. So I have those ones. I found this one at Goodwill, and it was 99 cents, so obviously I was going to get it. They had a New Moon one, too. But, Jacob was on the cover, and, you know, Jacob kind of sucks, so I didn't get it. I'm just kidding. I'll probably end up getting it sometime, but that one at Goodwill was like super destroyed, and this one wasn't too bad, and it was only 99 cents, so I was like, okay, I'll just get it, whatever. The next one I have is this Twilight one. I think it was like, I don't know if it was a limited edition or a special edition, but I found it on eBay and it was like 20 bucks, so I bought it. So it comes in this like case. This is the front of it. And then I like it because, like, I don't know if you can tell, but the pages are kind of like distressed pages. And then it has this little like bookmark. Like this. Like, it has like this little bookmark. And this one is signed. So I don't know if it's, I honestly don't know if it's actually signed or just like a stamp sign, but either way, that's pretty cool. And I found it on, like I said, I found it on eBay for like 20 bucks. So I can't complain. So I have this one. I have these white versions of all of them, and they're just super pretty. Like, I think, where did I put them? Oh, they're right in front of me. Yeah, so these ones, they have like the title and like stuff by Stephanie Meyer and everything on the front. But I like these ones because they just have the photo on the front. Like, they're just so pretty to me, and I love having them out and being able to display them on my shelves. So there's all 4. And then I have the Short Second Life of Bree Tanner as well. I still haven't read this one. I really want to, just because I feel bad for Bree Tanner and like her character, like both in the book and in the movie. Obviously it's a short second life, but like, I don't know, I just haven't gotten around to it. I mean, it's super short. What is it? It's 178 pages, so it's like nothing. But at the same time, I don't even know if Edward is in this, and honestly, I only read the books for Edward, so who knows? No, I'll probably get to it at some point, but I just don't know when. And then here are the new dust jackets that I got, and they are literally so pretty. They are from the Remember podcasts on Etsy, but I will leave them linked down below if you were like interested in getting them. I'll leave everything linked down below if you're interested. So I'm just gonna go one by one and show you, obviously, like I have been. So first we have Twilight, and so it has obviously Edward and Bella on the front cover, and then it's just like pretty script on the side. And then on the back it has Bella reading in front of her house. And they're really good quality. Like, they're really good quality. I'm just like in love with them. I really think they're stunning. And so here's New Moon. And so we've got Bella and Jacob on the cover. And then again, the pretty script on the side. And then we have Bella cliff diving on the back. We have Eclipse, which is my personal favorite, because we've got the entire Cullen clan on the front. Literally all of them. We have Eclipse on the side, and then on the back we have the full wolf pack, which I just love this one. This is my favorite one by far. I think it's just because it has everybody on it, but I just love it. We have, last but not least, Breaking Dawn, which again is super pretty. And then it has side, and on the back it has their little cottage that they move into after they're married, and Bella's like a vampire and everything. That is it for my entire collection of the Twilight Saga, because I literally have a problem. But what are you gonna do? Sometimes you just have to feed into your obsessions and just let yourself go. It's fine. Everything's fine. It'll work out itself on its own. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry, I had to move because the light was just really bad over there. And so now I'm in front of my bookshelves, and I'm gonna try to keep this my actual filming location because I really like how this looks. But anyways, let me move on. Okay, so I forgot to mention 2 things. The first one is this little like stone that I got. It's called the Happy Stone, or it's called like a Happy Stone or something. At least that's what they told me. I got it in Utah, and so I just thought it was really pretty, and it would have looked really good on my shelves, and it does look good on my shelves. I just started rewatching Vampire Diaries, and it kind of looks like the Moonstone, and I was like, dang, honestly, I got the Moonstone here. But I got that, and I also have this Team Edward candle that, let's see, I got that one from Etsy. I think it was called I Heart Pop Candles. I think that's what it was called. I'll leave it linked below, but this one, literally, it smells so good. It smells like Christmas. Like, it smells like a pine forest, and it smells really good. On the label it says Team Edward scented candle, smells like diamonds in the sun, flawless beauty and immortality. So honestly, both the candles that I have smell really good, but I don't know if I will ever light them because I think they're too pretty to light. So what are you gonna do? The next thing I want to talk about is the Twilight road trip I did with my best friend just a few months ago. So I used to live in Oregon, and the first movie was filmed up in Portland and in St. Helens. So in Portland it was like the Cullen house, the Lion and the Lamb scene, basically the entire scene of them like You're a Vampire, like that entire scene of them like in the woods. That was up in Portland. It's kind of funny because it was like outside of a restaurant, just like kind of on the side. So that was kind of funny. So those two were in Portland. The cafe where Bella and Charlie eat, that's in Portland. I'm trying to think what else we saw. I think that was it in Portland. And then we crossed the border into Washington and we went to the high school, which was actually really cool. And it was in a super cute like little town, and it was like on top of a mountain and everything, and it was super cute. So we saw that. And then that was the only location that we went to in Washington. And then from there we went down to St. Helens. And in St. Helens was the scene where she's leaving the bookstore and those guys like come through the alley and Edward like skirts into the like parking lot, you know? There's that scene. And then the Swan House is in St. Helens. And actually we were there around Halloween time. It was like the beginning of October. And in St. Helens is actually where they filmed Halloween Town as well. So while we were there, they had like all of the Halloween Town stuff like set up, so we got to see that too. So it was kind of like a 2-in-1. It was really cool. We did want to go to Cannon Beach, where I believe they filmed some scenes as La Push, but we didn't end up getting over there because we got kind of a late start, and we took up like the entire day. Like I think we left probably around like 10 or 11 o'clock, and we didn't get back till like 10 or 11 o'clock. So all the pictures, videos, and everything that we got from that trip, I'll go ahead and just put it in right here. So we'll do like a little montage of everything. So that was probably like the highlight of 2020. It was a lot of fun. It was just really cool to see everything. The Swan House is actually up on Airbnb, and they rent out like a year prior. So maybe next year we can go back and like stay in the house and stuff, because they have like a bunch of props and everything from the movie still in the house. So that would be like a lot of fun. So maybe we'll try to do that next year. But if you live in or around Portland, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. We listened to like the Twilight soundtracks as we were like driving through everything and stuff. So, and hopefully one day we can make it up to Forks. That would be so much fun. We were going to try to, but we just didn't have enough time to do it because I was still working and she was just visiting. So I couldn't get off work to actually go up to Forks and stay there for like a few nights and stuff, which would have been a lot of fun. But we're going to try to do that soon. The moment we've been waiting for. I'm going to be comparing, well, okay, not really comparing, but kind of comparing the books to the movies and like kind of talking about what I liked, what I didn't like, what I wanted to like wish I could have seen like in the movie that was like in the books and wasn't in the movie, whatever. So I'm gonna start with Twilight, and then I'm gonna like go book after book. So for Twilight, honestly, these are all really good movies. Like, I know they're kind of cringy, but they're really good, and I'm like obsessed with them. They give me like a weird sense of nostalgia, because when I was in like the 6th grade and Twilight came out in theaters, I was literally obsessed with the movie. Like, I didn't read the books. I didn't like reading as a kid, so I never read the books or anything. But the first Twilight movie, I was literally like obsessed with, and I would watch it like almost every night. For the rest of the movies, I was kind of, because you know, everybody was like, oh, Twilight's for losers and nerds and whatever, and it's not even that good, and oh, anything's a better love story than Twilight, you know, whatever. And me, being the preteen that I was like, oh yeah, you're right. It's stupid. Like, who would watch something like this? Like, you know, whatever, trying to fit in and like be cool. I talked about how I hated the movies and everything, but like deep down, I actually enjoyed them a lot. And even now, as like a 23-year-old, I still watch the movies because I enjoy them. Twilight I saw in theaters. New Moon, I believe I saw in theaters. Eclipse I went to the midnight premiere, but it was like this big one that was down in LA, because I also used to live in LA, so well, not in LA, but I used to live down in Southern California. But there was this big like midnight premiere in LA that my mom got tickets for, so we ended up going with like family friends, and it was like another like all day function, and so we did that. And then I did see both Breaking Dawns in theater. The first Breaking Dawn I remember seeing in theater because I don't know why, but I just remember the sex scene. I just remember Edward breaking the bed. And so that was that was the only thing that I remembered from Breaking Dawn Part 1 was Edward breaking the bed. And now that I think about it, that's probably so bad because that movie came out in like 2011 and I was probably like, I think I was like 14. So I guess that's not that bad. But like, it's kind of bad. Like, that's the only thing that I remember from that movie. And then Breaking Dawn Part 2, I remember I went with my sister. And the only reason I remember that is because the end fight scene when Aro kills Carlisle, oh my god, her reaction and the reaction of the theater was insane. Even I was like me who wasn't even invested in these movies as a kid, I was like, they really just did that. But then they were like, psych! So, all's well. But yeah, so I ended up seeing all of them in theater anyway. So for Twilight, there's 2 scenes that were in the book that were like my absolute favorite, and the fact that they do not include those scenes in the movie bums me out so much. One of the scenes is when they're doing the blood testing in the biology class, and so Edward skips it, and I think this is, I can't remember if this is before she finds out he's a vampire or afterwards. I think it's before. But so I like that scene because just the whole like interaction between them is just like, so like they have so much more personality in the books. That's the problem, is that they have so much more personality and there's so much more dialogue. And that scene when like Mike Newton is like taking her to the nurse's office, and she like passes out, and then Edward's like, don't worry, like I got it, and he like picks her up and like takes her to the nurse's office and stuff, and he's just like making fun of her, like he's just like making fun of her like the entire time, being like, oh, you pass out at like the sight of blood, and she's like, and the fact that she's like, well, because I can smell it, it's kind of like, I feel like it's like a foreshadow of what's to come. I don't know if Stephanie Meyer meant it to be that way, but I feel like that's just kind of like a foreshadow. And then again with that scene in Midnight Sun, Edward like sitting in his car and listening to Mike Newton's thoughts, and like basically seeing her like passing out in class through Mike Newton's eyes, and then being like, oh my god, I have to go help her. Like, I don't know, it just brings everything together, and I really wish they could have put that in the movies because I think it would have been so fun. And just, yeah, just the entire scene in the nurse's office when they're bringing in somebody else because they like fainted at the sight of blood or whatever, and she's like, okay, I'm better, let's go. So that one. And then the other one that I wish they put in the movie was the cafeteria scene when she's standing in line and she looks over and Edward is sitting at a table by himself and not like his usual table, and he like calls her over like this, and they just like talk and everything, and she's like, the hour went by like so fast. But I just love that scene. It gives them so much more personality and so much more dialogue and everything as like characters, and I think a lot of the things that they left out of the movie would have made them more personable, in my opinion. But I also feel like they did a really good job of kind of being of sticking close to the book. There's a lot of movies that don't stick close to the book at all, and they kind of stray off and they make their own like storyline or whatever, but I like how closely they stuck to the books in these movies. So next one I want to talk about is the baseball scene, which is honestly the most iconic scene in like movie history. And I don't care what anybody says, that scene, it beats out. That scene itself should have won an Oscar. Like, incredible. Obviously, Supermassive Black Hole. I can't listen to that song without thinking of Vampire Baseball. I remember when I was reading the book for the first time and they were like describing like the baseball scene and everything, that song was literally playing in my head. And then when I finished it, I was like, okay. And I like Googled like Twilight baseball scene, and I just watched like the baseball scene because it's just so iconic. And I mean, I guess it's obviously like important to the storyline and the plot and everything, but I'm just like, Catherine Hardwicke literally did that scene like justice. Like, it was so good. I don't care what anybody says, it's so good. Iconic, like, incredible. Okay, so now I'm gonna move on to New Moon, which obviously, you know, I'm Team Edward, so it's not my favorite of the movies, but it's not bad. So Jacob is the worst. I'm just putting that out there right now. Jacob is literally the worst, and I cannot stand him. He was so much better in the books. Like, I'm gonna be honest. He was better in the books. At least... Okay, let me rephrase that. He was better in the books before he was a werewolf. Like, when he was just Jacob, like, the goofy kid and stuff, like, I actually liked him. But then he turned into a werewolf, and I was like, there's nothing wrong with it, but he just kind of turned into an asshole, and I was like, okay, this guy's like... He's like a creep, too, and, like... I don't know. I just don't like Jacob. Like, I really just don't like Jacob. So, that's why New Moon isn't really my favorite movie or book for the most part. I got through that book really fast, too, because I was like flipping the pages, like, I just need Edward. I just need Edward. So I got through, like, so fast, because I was like, obviously I'm going to read it, but I just wanted, because I knew he came back in the end, obviously, but I was like, I just need to get to him. And when I finally got to him, I was like, okay, we're good. No, the scene when Edward leaves Bella, and she's, like, obviously, like, the iconic, like, depression chair, like, go-around with the seasons changing. I felt that. Like, I really felt that. When I was reading the movie and watching the book... What? Hello? Am I okay? When I was reading the book and watching the movie... Oh my god. When I was reading the book and watching the movie, I felt like Edward had left me. Like, the way that Bella felt... I don't know why, but it was like projecting onto me, and I felt that way too, and I was literally so sad. Like, I was reading this book and I was like crying just because I felt like so sad, because I felt like he left me too. And I was watching the book, oh my god, why do I keep saying that? And I was watching the movie and I was like literally like in tears. And for what? Literally, and for what? Like, I was acting like Edward had left me when he's not even real, and I'm out here like being heartbroken. So what she felt, I felt with her. Yeah, so Jacob's the worst. Don't like him. Not Team Jacob, obviously. If you're Team Jacob, why? Literally, why? The end is like really shitty when he's like, well, not really the end, but like when Edward thinks that Bella's dead, and he like calls the house, and then Jacob's like, he's planning a funeral, and hangs up. Like, that's fucked up. Like, that, you're gonna tell me that's not, because it really is. And she was like, why would you, this isn't even your house, why would you do that? Like, let me talk to him. And he's like, he always ruins everything. Like, okay, Jacob, you are literally like 15 years old. I understand that Bella's like 17 years old, but still, you are like 15 years old. Please, sir, calm down. I don't like Jacob. I really don't like Jacob. So, anyway, moving on. So, the end of New Moon, obviously in the book there's not the fight, there's like no fight scene. He just talks to the Volturi, and they kind of come to like an understanding with like turning Bella into a vampire like later on and stuff. But in the movie, I don't know why, but that like fight scene is one of my favorites, and it doesn't even like last that long. It's literally like 30 seconds. But for some reason, listen, like, sickly looking Edward, there's just something about him, and maybe I have issues. I mean, that could be it, but I don't know. And then in fighting with Felix, I'm just like, so that's like my favorite fight scene, and I don't know why. It's just so, I think it's because it's like well, I wouldn't say the first like action sequence, but like Edward's back and he's fighting for Bella, and like he looks hot while he does it. So this part from the book I wish they left in the movie was at the end of the fight, and obviously they're like leaving and stuff. Well, in the book, after they talk and they're leaving, and then they sit like out in the lobby, And Bella just like loses it, and she was like crying and everything, and he's like, I'm here, like it's okay. And she's like crying, and she's like, I don't want you to leave me, and like all that stuff. And it literally broke my heart. And like I fully wish that they left that in the movie, because I think it would have been so good. I mean, like, I know that they had the scene of her, the like very last, well, not the very last scene, but one of the last scenes of her like in bed, and then he's there and he's like, it's okay, like I'm not leaving and stuff. But like the things that they left out of the movies like gave them their personality. And so I feel like a lot of people would have liked it better, and maybe even like the characters better, if they see these certain scenes. Because like I kind of made fun of the movies and stuff, but once I read the books and then I watched the movies, I was just kind of like, okay, like that makes sense, you know? So it was a lot better for me to watch the movies again after I read the books, because again, it gives them more like personality. Now we're gonna move on to my favorite movie and my favorite book, and that would be Eclipse. And I don't care what anybody says, that is my favorite movie and I love it, and that's my favorite book. I just love it. And I don't know if it's because Edward is like super protective over Bella again, but it's like even more because he was gone and then they both almost died, and then now he's like, you know, back to normal, whatever. But there's just something about Eclipse, and I just loved it. I don't know if it's because like, again, because the whole Edward thing, or if it's because we get like Jasper's backstory, we get Rosalie's backstory, and we get a little bit of Alice's backstory too. So Eclipse is like my favorite, and I love it. And again, that fight scene actually with like the newborns in the movie is really good, and I really liked it. And listen, unpopular opinion, and I am gonna say this right now, and nobody can change my mind, and I will take absolutely no criticism, but Edward in that movie, Robert Pattinson in that movie, looked so fucking good, and I don't care. I don't want to hear any slander about his sideburns, okay? I don't want to hear slander about Edward in Eclipse, because he looked so good, and I don't care what anybody says, okay? I just want to make that clear right now, is that I love him. And he looks so good in that movie, okay? Thank you. And honestly, like, I think it's the lighting of the movie, because everything looks so much brighter in that movie, and I don't know what it is, but everything looks a lot brighter in that movie. So I wish in the book, because she goes to see her mom in Florida, and so I wish in the book they actually had that scene like written out, because it was basically like, oh, she's leaving for Florida, and then like the next chapter it's like, oh, she's back from Florida. Like I wish there was more to it, like, because I know she, like, obviously Edward went with her, so I wish that there was more like of them two together. And like I kind of would have liked to seen Edward interact with her mom, because he never really does, even in like Breaking Dawn, like during the wedding and stuff, he never really interacts with her. So I think that would have been like, I don't know, nice to see. But maybe that's just me. There was something I wanted to talk about, and I can't remember what it was. Because I can't remember, I'm just gonna move on, and then if I think about it, I'll come back. Hi, it's me from editing. I just remembered what I wanted to talk about. So I wanted to talk about the scene where Jacob drops Bella off after he kisses her and she punches him in the face and breaks her hand. Just when they get to the house and Edward pulls up, the way that he's like, if you ever touch her against her will again, my man's really went in there to fuck shit up. And then the fact that like Charlie came out and he literally got in between like a werewolf and a vampire from like fighting. I just think that's so funny that he's just like, okay, like calm down boys, but it's like he doesn't even know what he's like stepping in the middle of. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. And honestly, since I'm on topic right now, real quick, can we talk about Edward in a hoodie? Chef's kiss. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the video. The end scene, obviously, I don't know, I guess I'm just a hoe for fight scenes, okay? What can I say? But the scene, obviously, when they're on top of the mountain and they're fighting with Victoria and him and Seth, like, my favorite part was that in the book, like, him and Seth, like, devised a plan. And then at the end, she's like, you plan this? And they were like, yeah. Like, Seth is just, I love Seth. Okay, I would die for him. He's my favorite werewolf. He's the only werewolf that matters. I'm just putting that out there. Afterwards, again, this is from the book. Afterwards, because she cut herself on her arm to distract, like, Victoria and Riley from killing Edward. And so at the end, when he, like, rips Victoria's head off and stuff, and she's just kind of, like, backed up, like, against, like, a wall of rocks and stuff, and he's, like, he goes up to her, and it was literally, like, right after he killed Victoria, and he goes up to her, and he's like, it's okay, like, don't be afraid, like, I'm not gonna hurt you, and he's, like, super gentle with her, and she's like, what are you doing? She's like, I know you're not gonna hurt me, and he's like, it's okay, like, I wish they would have kept that in the movie, because when I read that for the first time, I was like, oh my god, like, it was literally the cutest thing. He like was so scared that she was gonna be scared of him, and he was just like, don't be scared, and she's like, I'm not scared. So I loved that, and I really wish they would have kept that in the movie, because I think it would have been really good. Again, more their personality. He's so sweet with her, and I just loved it. So let's move on to Breaking Dawn Part 1. So, well, I guess, well, you know, we'll just do Part 1 and Part 2, because the book is one thing. So, in the book, and in the movie, there's a part where all the wolves meet up, and they find out about Bella being pregnant, because Jacob, like, goes off and, like, tells them about it, because he's a dumb idiot. But that scene in the movie is so cringy. Like, I'm so sorry, and I know it's supposed to be, like, a full, like, serious scene and everything, but it is so cringy, and I just can't, like, handle it. I have a really hard time watching it. And then in the book, that was all from Jacob's point of view. Like, there was a good chunk of the book that was from Jacob's point of view, and it was so boring. It was literally so boring. I had such a hard time getting through that book just because of Jacob's point of view. Like, because the other books, I think maybe took me, like, this was during lockdown, so I had nothing better to do. So the first 3 books, I think, honestly took me probably, like, a day or two. Like, it literally took me a full week to read this one book, because I just had such a hard time getting through it, and Jacob's point of view was just so boring. Like, I mean, it was cool, like, to see the wolves, I guess, like, and hear what they were thinking, but at the same time, it was just so boring. It was so boring. So, I think if I ever reread them, I, again, will probably have a really hard time getting through Breaking Dawn, just because Jacob's point of view, man, I'm telling you, I had a hard time. So I'm, like, gonna bounce back and forth here, just because there's so much stuff between the 2 movies and the 1 book. So, in the first movie, I don't know why, but, like, so Edward is, like, super understanding and super gentle and super sweet and, like, caring towards Bella all the time, because he's like, I'm super, like, protective over you and stuff. But when she's, like, pregnant and Carlisle's trying to, like, look, like, on the ultrasound to see the baby, but he can't, and I think she, like, breaks her rib or something, and Edward gets, like, so mad, because she's like, I want you to have a part of me, like, it's okay. And then, I don't remember what she says, but he, like, pops off, and he's like, because you've given me no choice, and he, like, yells at her, and I'm like, we never see this side of Edward, so the fact that they put that in the movie, I was like, wow. Like, when he's like, you give me no choice, we're supposed to be partners, and then he freaking, like, storms out of there and slams the door, I was like, okay, Edward, okay. So, oh, the funny part, the deleted scene. I don't know if anybody has seen this, but there's the scene in the movie, and I'm pretty sure it was in the book. It's Esme, Emmett, Edward, Bella, obviously, Jacob, and Rosalie, and Esme's like, bring Jacob something to eat. And so she literally brings him out, like, a hot dog in, like, a dog bowl that she, like, made, and when he throws it at her, and she turns around and she's like, you got food in my hair. That is literally the funniest fucking thing. And the fact that they filmed it and then they cut it from the movie, but then they still, like, left it as, like, a deleted scene or whatever, but they should have kept that in the movie, because that shit is so funny to me. And I will literally just go on YouTube and I will just search that and I'll just watch it, because it's just so funny. So I don't want to put it in here because I don't want to, like, get copyrighted or anything. I don't even know if I would, but still, I don't want to risk it. But I'm going to link it down below, because if you have not seen it, please go watch it, because it is so funny. It's so funny. It's kind of sad though, because like everybody's like, oh, Rosalie has like come around and she's friends with Bella and she's protecting her. But the thing is that she knows Bella's gonna die, like having this baby. And the only reason she's protecting Bella because she wants the baby for herself. And like, if you think about it, that's kind of fucked up. So she's like keeping Bella alive just so she can have this baby, so Bella can die and then she can take care of the baby. Like, that's really like messed up. So she's like, I don't know, everybody says that she's like redeemed and stuff because she was helping them, but it's like, no, she was really just doing it for herself. She was selfish. Like, I don't know, it's just kind of fucked up. The only thing that I wish Breaking Dawn gave us more of was more of like Emmett, because I feel like he wasn't like a big part of Breaking Dawn, like the book, but I feel like he was in it more, and there was more like explained as to why he was like super like protective over Bella and stuff. And like in the books they had such a good like brother-sister relationship, and they were so fun together, and they like barely interacted in the movies, which I think was like unfortunate, because that would have been like really fun. Because in the end Breaking Dawn, when Edward is over talking to Aro, and then they like call him over, so it's Bella, Jacob, Renesmee, and like Emmett ends up following him. And I think Emmett like going with them was like explained in the book, but it was never explained in the movie, so it was just kind of like random. And then the fight scene obviously wasn't in the book. Again, like I said before, when I saw it in theaters with my sister, I didn't really have like a connection to Twilight, so I was just kind of like whatever. So when Aro like killed Carlisle, I was like shook. I was literally shook, and I was like, you can't do that. And I was like, really? They're gonna come in here and they're gonna put in a fight scene that doesn't even exist, and they're gonna kill Carlisle? And then they killed Jasper too? Like, nobody talks about that. They killed Jasper too, and it's kind of sad. So like, I don't know, just that whole fight scene is like nuts. And I think I'm surprised like in the movie they didn't like kill Edward like in the fight scene, because I was thinking about that like the last time I watched it, and I was like, could you imagine if they like, instead of, well, I think Carlisle obviously was gonna start it because these are all Carlisle's friends and stuff, but like, could you imagine if like somebody ended up killing like Edward during the final battle? Like, that would have been like insane, because I know that there's a one part when Benjamin like hits the ground and like cracks open and everybody falls in. There's like this one part where Edward falls in and we think that he's like dead, but then he like comes shooting out like fucking Superman, like so random, but okay. And then it was sad. Oh, and then Seth and Leah, that was really sad. That was really sad. And the fact that like, the part that got me was the fact that Leah went in because she was helping Esme, and then like that whole scene makes me always think about the scene where Leah, Seth, and Jacob are watching over the Cullen house, like basically protecting it from the wolves, and Esme comes out bringing them food and stuff, and she like hands it to Leah, and she's like I don't want it, and then Esme's just kind of like and then Jacob's like, but like Esme is so nice, she's so underrated. She's so underrated. I love her. But that's just like, I wouldn't call it a parallel, but that like, I don't know, makes me sad. I always think about that. And even though I don't really care about Leia because she's kind of an asshole, like that just always like makes me sad. And then real quick, so that's kind of everything for the original book, the original 4 books and like the movies and stuff. I do want to talk about Midnight Sun a little bit. I kind of touched on it when I was talking about Twilight, but I kind of want to talk about Midnight Sun in its own like category. I'm a hoe for Emmett, as I've stated before. I'm a hoe for Emmett, and I'm so glad we got so much more of him in Midnight Sun. Like, I'm so glad we got so much more of him, and like the things that he would just like say in his mind, and like Edward would like hear it, is just like, I don't know. I love Emmett. The only thing that I didn't like about the book was, I think it was only really like in the first half. Like the rest of it was kind of okay, but like in the first half, all of like the Cullens would kind of talk to Edward just through their mind. Like, even if it was something they could have just said aloud, like even if they were just like alone, like they would think things and he would hear it. So I think that was kind of like an overkill. Like I get that you're trying to prove the point that he can like read minds, but like we get it, you know? And so the fact that like, I think there was one part where he like walked in to Carlisle's office and Carlisle was in there by himself and they literally had like a full-on conversation. Carlisle just like saying things in his head and Edward like answering him like out loud. And then like that would go on for a little bit and then they would start talking like normal. Like, I don't know, I just personally I think that went on too long and it was like unnecessary because like we understand that he can read minds and stuff. I mean, like if they were in public and they were like and one person was like talking to Edward like through their mind, I get it, but like when they're alone, just, you know, whatever. I don't know, it's kind of weird. But and then I just love being able to like hear about what the Cullens were doing while like don't get me wrong, Bella's like cool and all, but obviously Edward is my man. Hearing things from his point of view and like what he was doing while she was like off on her own and stuff was kind of cool. Like hearing what the Cullens do like in their own home and stuff, and how Edward would play the piano for like Esme and Esme loved it and stuff like that. It was just, again, it gives them so much more personality and they go so much more in depth in the characters than they did in the movies. I feel like any like book to movie or book to TV adaptation is going to do that, but they just took out some like important scenes from the books and they just didn't include them in the movie when they would have made the characters so much more likable. Except Jacob. Jacob sucks ass always. And then the fact that Alice kept bothering Edward to meet Bella. She's like, when can I meet her? When can I meet her? We're gonna be best friends. I just want to meet her. Like, and he was like avoiding her at all costs. And like, if they were gonna go somewhere and Alice was there, he's like, oh, let's go over here instead. Like, I don't know. I just thought that was really funny and I really love Alice too. So I think that's all I have to say about the Twilight Saga, both books and movies. Yeah, I'm a little late to the trend, but you know, that's okay. I've made it. I got there, so we're good. I don't know, maybe I'll watch Twilight after this. Actually, no, that's a lie. I watched Twilight and New Moon a few nights ago, so if anything, I'm gonna watch Eclipse so I can, you know, just move on. But, oh, and I want to talk about oh my god, I'm gonna cry. I want to talk about the meadow scene at the end of Breaking Dawn Part 2. Like, the meadow scene when Bella is able to let Edward, like, into her mind and let her see, like, everything that she has seen, like, throughout the years. It makes me cry every single time. And I don't know if it makes me cry because the movie's over and I'm really sad that, like, I'm finished with the series, or, like, I don't know, it just makes me cry. And then it goes into the credits and, like, the credit scene when, like, it shows, like, all the Cullens and, like, Charlie, and then it goes to Bella, Edward, and Jacob. It literally makes me cry. And I don't know why I'm so, like, emotionally invested into this series. And it's so sad because it's only been, like, a year. Like, it's not even the fact, well, I guess I kind of did grow up with the movies, but it's, like, not even the fact that I grew up with the movies. Like, it's the fact that I finished the saga and I probably can't watch these 5 movies again for, like, another, like, month because people are gonna judge me if I, like, finish it and then I start it over again. But I literally sob like a baby every time we get to the meadow scene, and I don't know why. I don't know why. And then the fact that 1,000 Years is a song playing in the background, so now whenever I hear that song, it literally makes me emotional. Like, that's like my crying song. Like, I can hear the song and it literally makes me cry. Like, I don't know. Do I have issues? Probably. But it's fine. I just fill it with fictional characters, so everything's fine. Okay, so that is all for this video. Thank you for listening to me talk about Twilight for... This is probably going to be too long, but thank you for listening to me talk about Twilight for too long. Let me know your opinion on Twilight. Do you like the books better? Do you like the movies better? What's your favorite book? What's your favorite movie? Do you think Edward looks great in Eclipse? Because I do. So if you want to just leave that down below, you can just leave it down below. Everything. Tell me everything about Twilight. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I'm so sorry. I really needed to talk about it because I just love it. I just love it a lot. So, anyways, I will see you guys next week. Bye.